Hey, this is the Antisocial Socialite back at it again. Thanks so much for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, you have not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for, my dear? Hit that subscribe button, smash that notification bell, so when I get to running this mouth, catching my teeth, pronouncing my S's, you are in the loop. You see the title, you know what time it is. You can't be afraid to let some people die out, you know. This video is brought to you by the young brother who sponsored by Accurist. I was having a conversation recently with somebody a bit younger than me, Red Pill brother. Start talking about the community and the problems, and we were talking about the root of the problem. Him being a younger person, he sees things maybe a little bit differently, and I'm just a little bit more militant maybe. So we get to this part of the conversation where I said, you know, and I said it to be inflammatory. I said it to kind of get a reaction out of him and see what he would say. I knew it was controversial. I said, look, bro, you just need to let some people die. He's like, no. You can't just say that. You can't just say that. He didn't say it just like that. It was like, basically, that was a sentiment. And I was like, yeah, you have to let some people die, because you cannot continue to support people who don't want to change. So at the beginning of the conversation, he was like, you know, he started off with hip hop. You know, I'm a massive fan of hip hop. Actually, I am a massive fan of hip hop. Rap and hip hop was and probably is my favorite genre of music. The problem is you can't really respect rappers. And he was like, when you look at some of these rappers, they give a lot of money, they're preaching and, you know, singing about positive things. So they're turning it around. Obviously the conversation went to Nipsey Hussle. He was like, Nipsey Hussle never really promoted gang lifestyle that bad. You know, and I'm like, yeah, but he was still associated with gang banging. And okay, he personally might not have been that bad, but there were many other rappers who sang about sleeping around, doing crime, smoking weed, and those things have contributed to the breakdown of the black community. It doesn't matter that now you are singing positive messages or you're trying to right the wrongs by giving money or doing different things. You know, the damage has already been done. You may have the money as a celebrity, a rapper, whatever, to help people if you get into trouble, to get yourself out of trouble. But the average person who's looking up to you and emulating what you are doing, they don't have those options. And I said to him, my stance is, let the people who cannot be helped just die off. There are levels. There are people who are doing well and they've never really made a mistake. They've never gone off the straight and narrow. You have some people who have made mistakes, but they're trying to fix it. And then you have the people right at the bottom of the spectrum who don't want to be helped. It's not even like they're unhappy with their current situation. They're quite content in the situation that they're in. And it's those kind of people, and that's not me trying to be like a snob and looking down on anybody. Those are the people who contribute some of the biggest problems to the community. So this is where we now started to clash. He's saying a person who is maybe working class, they come from a underprivileged background, they cannot relate to the straight-laced person who just comes in with a shirt and a suit and a tie, never been in the streets. And I said to him, that's your problem right there. That's one of a few problems. In the black community, we value things that are irrelevant. And this whole, I need to be able to relate to you, is an effeminate talking point. And me having the big mouth that I have, I told him that straight. I said, bro, what you're saying to me is a female talking point. I need to feel. I need to be able to relate. You haven't walked a mile in my shoes. Listen, somebody will say to you, you don't know what it's like to be me. You never walked a mile in my shoes. Do you know how many times when I said I used to do that and I don't do that anymore, people say, well, who are you to judge me? You're a hypocrite because you've done it too, or you used to do this too. So the same people who will say to you, you don't know what it's like to be me, could be the very same people that when you say, I used to do that and I turned my life around, they'll come with another excuse as to why your point is still not valid. It doesn't matter whether your points are valid or not. The point is they don't want to change. That's the bottom line of the matter. It's not about, oh, you did this or you didn't do that. It's about the fact that they don't want to change. If you said, oh, I used to do this, I used to do that, and this is how I stopped, they'll say, oh, well, it's all right for you, you had help. Or it's all right for you, you had money. Or it's all right for you. They'll always find a reason to shut down why you don't have the right to say to them, there's a better way you could be living. This action or this lifestyle is destructive, knock it off. So it's not about them not being able to change. It's that they're content in the lifestyle that they are currently in. Okay? And this is what I'm trying to get through to this guy. He doesn't want to accept that it's not just about, I come from poverty, I come from an underprivileged background, I come from struggle. It's about the fact that you like that life. Do we have gangs in the UK? Yeah, we do. But again, even people that live in some of the most gang infested areas here, America, South America, Africa, not everybody's into crime and gang banging and gang lifestyle. People don't have they don't have the money to travel the bus, but to go and get the latest sneakers. They don't have the money to invest in a business, but they have the money to smoke weed. The issue is not money or poverty. It's about mentality and it's about priorities. And a lot of these people who don't want to do better, and look, and we all know, not everyone's going to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody wants to run a business. Not everybody has an idea. But there are good paying jobs, and at least you can just be a law-abiding citizen and contribute to the society by not getting into trouble. So when I see groups of young boys standing on street corners in gangs, smoking, spitting up the place, you don't have to do that, especially not here in the UK, because, is gang culture a reality? Yes, but you don't have to be associated with it. A lot of people are not living in areas like that, but they get mixed up in that because it's cool, it's socially acceptable, you want to have the latest things, you want money, and, again, because we as a people can be so superficial, we're putting pressure on other people to look a certain way. So instead of just working hard, suffering and having that delayed gratification, a lot of young people are messing themselves up early, just trying to keep up with the so-called Joneses. And those people you're trying to keep up with, they have nothing to offer you. You're trying to impress people with things you don't have for no reason. So then he said to me like, oh, I don't want to listen to anyone who ain't really got no money, because money is like cash is king. And I said, well, there's another reason. He's like, I know there's going to be some people who are wise, but they're poor. Ain't no one trying to hear that. Again, then you put yourself in a position to be ruined by somebody who has maybe gained great wealth through the wrong routes. It's like, I said to him, so you're saying to me then that ends can justify means. If the person was a gangbanger, the person was a thief, a bank robber, a fraudster, you're basically saying it doesn't matter how you got the money, as long as you got the money. He said, no, I'm not really saying that. But if you have the mentality, I only want to listen to people who have wealth, and you're not looking at how they acquired that wealth, it's still going to be a situation where you're glorifying people who are negative for the community, because they still done a lot of damage. They still influence people into what was not right, even though now they're trying to switch it around. For example, Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is trying to reinvent himself every few years. One minute I think he was a Muslim, next minute he's coming out with a gospel album, he's doing game shows. But if he really turned his life around, he should have done like Sinead O'Connor, you know, the lady who sang Nothing Compares to You. She became, although she's troubled because I think she's a Muslim now, at one point I think she became a nun. But one thing I can respect about her is when she said, I'm going to stop making music, she pulled down all her music. It's like that life is gone. It's dead. These guys want to come back and say, I'm a born again, you know, community worker. I'm going to come in and I'm going to save the community because I've got all these millions. But your music that was poisoning the same community you claim you want to fix and help is still out there for people to consume. So this was the next point. You know, it's not just, you know, who's got the money has the right to talk. And I understand there's a principle there that makes sense. Why are you trying to educate me about finance if you're broke? But not everybody's got the wherewithal to get up and make that money. It's for you to take that information and apply it to your life. I said, because when he said to me, you got to be able to relate, that means everybody's got to go and stab people, shoot people, commit crime, do fraud, go prison before they have the right to talk. That's a logical fallacy. But you want an excuse not to listen to somebody who's trying to guide you in the right way before you go the wrong way. So then he's saying, oh, these celebrities, they're doing this, they're doing that. And you know how I feel about the celebrities. You know, we don't know what they're doing in their personal life. All these celebrities being accused of things and, you know, going to these secret parties and, you know, accused of raping people, going to private islands, embezzling money. I mean, we don't know who these people are. So to look to them for support and to build the community, it just doesn't make any sense to me, because a lot of them are probably corrupt. And they use their philanthropy as a smokescreen. So I don't know, is to whom much is given, much required? If it's coming from a good place, yes. But we can't all just sit around here waiting for a celebrity to get a heart and look back. Even they have a limited amount of money. They cannot save us all. So that really, it just wound me up. And I thought to myself, this is how a lot of black people think. We've got to have people who we can relate to. We've got to have people who have wealth and they come back and they support us and save the community. And this is even what a lot of productive brothers are saying. We're tired of being rejected by the community, but then the same community that ostracized us is looking for us to come back and build. It just cannot work. It's not about relating, it's about everybody putting a hand to the plow and working, and whoever doesn't want to work should just get left. Because if you know, we don't all want to be like Bob Marley. Bob Marley could have had his toe cut off and his whole body survived. But because he decided to keep the toe with cancer, he lost his entire life. And people who keep saying, oh, we should just keep helping these people who don't want to help themselves, they don't want to contribute, they don't want to live right, they don't want to give back to the community. They are like that cancerous toe that eventually is going to impact the entire community. Because our kids go to school with their kids. We have to work with them. Because of them, the police look at us funny. Because of them, security is looking at us funny. Because of them, the media paints us in a bad light. They may only be a few rotten apples, but those are the rotten apples. Those rotten apples are what get elevated to the mainstream. We look at certain things in the mainstream media and we just laugh. Oh, I know somebody like that. Oh, I could imagine me saying something like that, blah, 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 blah. But I'm not like that, or I don't know anyone like that, or, you know, that's just them over there. As a black person looking at the way blacks are portrayed in the mainstream media, you just laugh about it because you know maybe behind all that talking or, you know, shouting or kissing your teeth or whatever, that is just a person. But to people outside of the black community, all they're saying is that's how blacks behave. To them, we're all just black, we're all the same. And we do it too. So let's not pretend like we don't do the same thing. We don't say some whites all the time. We just say that's a white person for you, or that's an Asian for you, or that's a Jew for you, or whatever. Everybody generalizes because it makes life easier. So when you have a mainstream media that's always putting forth certain images of black people and we buy into those stereotypes, it makes it harder. Which brings me to my next point when I, you know, because this conversation went on for like a good 2 hours almost, you know, about how you want to be an individual, but this is a game and you got to play it. Oh, I don't believe that we need to bother with like the suit and the tie all the time. I don't have to necessarily conform to a certain standard or a certain image to be like taken seriously. I'm like every other group on earth. Saudis, they have their attire. Africans have their attire. Asians have their attire. But there's times when they want to converse with the West, they put on the suit and they play the game. It's only black people who want to be hyper individualistic and then they wonder why no one takes them seriously. Those people have to be left behind because there's a game, there's money to be had, there's, you know, moves to be made. Just play the game until you're in a position where you don't have to wear the suit. Mark Zuckerberg doesn't wear a suit. But he's built something and he's his own boss. So he doesn't need to impress anybody because he's at the top. When you're at the top, you dress how you like. But until you get to that point, you play the game like everybody else so you can compete. Didn't Mark Zuckerberg wear a nice suit when he had to go to court though? When he wanted the judge to take him seriously to do with, I think it was privacy and people's information getting shared, did he not put on the suit then? I think that's the one time I ever seen Mark Zuckerberg in anything other than that damn hoodie. So even people who are at the top, when it comes time to play the game, they know how to compete. It's only black people who want to be on this, oh, you should take me as I am, accept me as I am business. And then they're like, oh, the reason why you didn't pick me is because I'm black. I was going to do a video about that, like why I hate this talk about the system or white supremacy. Not because I don't believe white supremacy exists. We all know racism is always under the surface depending on where you are. Here in the UK, just let something happen with a person with a bit of colour in their skin. You soon see the far right marching and, you know, you don't know when some person is going to say something or do something. The racism is always just under the surface, but because of the laws and how people have been vocal about, you know, racism, they have to be more careful how they how they operate, because it's very easy for you to be accused of being racist. But don't think it's not there all the time under the surface. But black people use that too much. No, sometimes it's our lack of discipline, it's our lack of preparation, it's our wishful thinking. It's these kind of things that disqualify us from being able to compete and be taken seriously. And then we say, oh, the reason why I'm held back is the white man. The white man has got his foot on my neck. The white man's suppressing me. The white man doesn't want to give me an opportunity. That victimhood mentality keeps us in a position of being victimized. So the whole conversation, it just went sour because he started to come around when we start talking about, you know, if a chick has kids out of wedlock, whose fault is that? Yeah, I know, but it's like, I know, but he knows. And a lot of black people know that if we make our bed hard, we have to lie in that bed hard. And unfortunately, sometimes we're going to die in that same bed that we made. And those consequences are what we will all have to live with. It's hard to think maybe my friend or my family, my parents or my children or whoever, they're going to be left by the wayside. But we need to have a cultural and a mental shift if we're going to actually be able to compete as a people. Because the problem is not the white man. The problem is our mentality. What we value disqualifies us from being able to compete. And trying to carry people who don't even want to leave the spot where they're at helps to bring down the average of the entire community. What we value as a group needs to be adjusted. It needs to be in line with what is productive, what is successful, what actually works, not what we think should work, not what we think should work or what we would like to work. It's irrelevant what we like. You may have a talent for certain things or a passion for certain things. If it's not going to make money, unfortunately, you're going to have to do something else to support your non-productive, you know, financially, I don't know what the word is, your financially insufficient project or scheme or hobby or interest. Or you're going to have to find a way to make it make money, or you're going to have to abandon it. That's why you have the concept of the struggling actor. Because contrary to popular belief, although you see a lot of people on TV with a huge amount of money, actors making this and that, the average actor is not. They still have to have a job, or they have to do other things in order to supplement their income, because acting roles don't come every day. Maybe you do a role today and you don't work again for 6 months, a year. What are you going to do in between those jobs? But black people have that mentality, oh, you know, I can just go and be a rapper tomorrow because I see everyone blowing up on Instagram. How many people want X Factor, Britain's Got Talent, America's Got Talent, Pop Idol, all these stupid shows? Give it a year or two, half of the winners, we don't even know where they are. But you think you're going to be the next big thing because you want easy come. You want it to come quickly. And even if you get there, you have 5 minutes of fame and then you're gone. Who was it the other day I was seen driving Uber? You know, but how many people, like, after they should have been getting ready to slow down, they're going to have to go back and redo, because in their youth, when they should have been building up, they were either squandering the money or squandering their time. So let me know what you think. You know, can we take people who don't want to be productive in society? Should we just be prepared to let these people die by the wayside? Is it the responsibility of the rich in the community to help the poor? Or should everybody just have to find their own way? Hit me up in the comment section, like, share and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.